Hey guys, I have Gugu here with me today and we are going to be doing a small ball class. We're going to be focusing on releasing some tension in the neck and jaw and obviously in the feet, because I feel like that's where a lot of discomfort stems from, and it works its way throughout your whole body, or it works the other way around and lands up in the feet. So that's what we're going to be working on today. We're starting standing on your mat facing forward with a softness in the knees and your hands at your sides. And you're going to inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Spreading your toes and pressing them into the floor. Inhale again and exhale. I'm going to start with a roll down, chin to chest, and then roll slowly, vertebra by vertebra. Just relaxing your heavy head long and not touching the ground your aim, but rather flexing your spine. Leaning forward, softness in the arms. Inhale through the nose and exhale to roll yourself back up, stacking the bones and then untucking to rise. Inhale again, chin to chest, and exhale, you'll roll down. Scoop up the tummy but let your arms hang. And then wait there at the bottom, don't rush to the top. Let's rotate your torso over your right foot so that you stretch your left side body. And the sides are the key to unlocking the neck. Exhale, take your body weight over to the left, reaching that right shoulder a little bit further so that you stretch your right side, inhaling into the side. And then drag yourself back to center. And roll yourself back up to standing, up the middle, unraveling. Voila. Take a big step forward so you're further along your mat and you have some mat behind you. And the reason we want to do that is because it's quite uncomfortable on your toes when you take your foot back and you allow your top of your foot to stretch. So you take your toes back like so, and then push into the floor with your foot, and you'll feel a stretch in the front of the shin. Standing there, we're also tricking your body into standing on your left side only. But standing there, just press into the foot as much as is tolerable, because different people have different flexibility of the toes. And for some people, they can hardly bend. And then I can actually take it all the way back. Take 2 breaths here. And then come back to center, put the foot down. And we'll do the other side. So left foot goes back, weight bearing on the right leg, applying pressure into the top of the foot. Good, that's nice and flexible. Still opening up your chest and your heart and caring about the rest of your posture, trying to get some height and length and space between all the bones of your back. 2 breaths here. And then come out of it. Standing now on the 2 feet. We've done this before, maybe you've never done it in your life, but we're going to attempt to lift the big toes only in standing. So spreading the toes, you're going to lift your big toe off the ground and see if it's easy or difficult to do it in isolation. So none of the 4 small toes are actually coming up. And then you'll lower the big toe and we lift all 4 smalls, but you're pushing the big toe deep into the ground. Yes. And then you'll toggle between the big toe only lifts. It's quite hectic. And then the other way, so big toes down and all 4 smalls are lifted. Now when you're doing this, it's toggle back. You don't want to change the arch of your foot at all. You actually just want to move your toes, and there should be no change in what the bones of your ankle are doing. Only the toes. Good. And you can get cocky with it and go quite fast, but obviously we don't want to make a mistake. You want to do it as precisely as you can, and once you can do 10 in a row, then this exercise is dead to you and you don't need to do it again. Not unless it's a test to see if you still got it. And so we'll do a couple more. I'm moving my fingers and my toes. And softness in the knees, because you don't need to hyperextend. If you can create that softness, then you're teaching your brain that it doesn't need to slam. And last one. Good. And then you're going to hold the ball in front of you and bend your knees into a squat. So here's where we warming up the tissues of your body. So previously it was quite mental. We were doing roll downs to try to get you to connect, but here there's no choice. I'm taking the choice out of your body, and it's just out of your brain and into your body, right? So you're going to keep your squat lacquer deep. So take yourself to that place, hold it there, tight arms. You're squeezing the ball in your hands. And then we're going to commit the ball to right hand only. So you squeeze the ball in your right hand, left arm stays still, right arm opens out to the right hand side. And then you close it on in front of you. Left hand holds ball, open to the left hand side. And then take it back in front of you. Deeper, deeper, deeper. Right arm goes out. Rib cage closes. Connect the ground to the ground with the toes. Left arm opens. Good. Comes back. Now Gugu and I don't know each other that well, so she doesn't actually have any like safe words for me. Take one arm out and then come back. So I'm going to start reading her facial expressions, unlucky for you guys. I can't see you. But we're going to go deeper.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to do 4 more. Inhale, we open. And back. Last 3. I can tell if you're rushing. 2. And then your last one, but don't give up. Suck in your tongue, close your arms and take your hands above your head so you stay low. Arms go up, 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 hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the ball, rise. Well done. Give me that ball and get yourself down onto your mat, on your back. You did a good job. So you're lying down, hands at your sides, arms are reaching long. I'm going to bend the knees. I'm going to place this ball between your knees, so go ahead and grab your ball and then squeeze the ball between the knees, pressing all 10 toes into the ground. Open up your shoulders, pressing those arms long, and then keep your head light and loose on the floor. Inhale into your tummy and exhale. Now the whole time you're squeezing the ball between your knees and you're inhaling, drawing and dragging that air into your navel, and exhale. Now it's hard to do with the inner thighs working, that you drag air into your tummy, but I want you to try your best to see if you can bellow that belly up to the ceiling and then exhale it back in while keeping tension across the 2 knees using your adductors. While you're thinking about the breath, you're also throwing it into the ground and out into the sides, and you have 360 degrees of your breath. We're going to fix the orientation of the elbows, reaching the hands long, and squash your palms as well as your wrists into the floor. And then inhale to prepare, and on your exhale, you'll not only knit your belly button to your spine, but you imprint your spine into the floor, and we're going to lift your hips up off the ground. Tuck and lift the pelvis up, 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 up. Pause there. Drop the sternum down into the ground. So we're focusing a lot on getting deep neck flexion. You stay up in the air with your bum and you squeeze your knees, but you're going to drop your chest down towards the floor. So you drop the bra strap or your heart rate belt down, 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 and you tuck your tail and lower yourself all the way down to the mat. On an inhale, you chill. And then on an exhale, you tuck the tail. Remember that the ball's still gently squeezed, and you exhale to lift your hips up off the floor. Pause there. You don't need to go very high in the chest. You can keep your chest down a little bit so that you get the right bum muscles and hamstring to work. And then lower yourself back down, curling. Now check in with your toes. Are they pressed into the floor? Inhale for me here. And exhale, still squeezing the inner thigh. Take the hips up off the floor. Inhale at the top and exhale. You come back down slowly, unraveling the spine, and then you can soften on the knees, but you're not going to let go of the ball. You just have less pressure into the ball. Inhale and exhale. You lift your hips up off the floor. You do not need to squeeze the ball too hard. You've just got a gentle pressure in the ball, so you just don't want the ball to drop. Inhale at the top and exhale, come down. We do 4 like this. Unravel the pelvis, breathe in and exhale, tuck, and you can still feel the inner thighs actually working even though you're not squeezing, because you're just trying not to let go of the ball. Inhale and then come down slowly, opening the heart but tucking the rib cage down towards the hips and tucking the tail, and then last second you unravel the tail. Inhale and exhale, you imprint your spine and you lift your hips up off the floor. Inhale at the top, second to last pelvic curl, and drop the sternum down, which is your chest, and then unravel, and we're going to meet at the top, tucking your tail. For your last one, you lift up your hips and come up into the air for me. And then at the top you stay still, but you squeeze your ball. So you squeeze your ball to death and you release, and you squeeze your ball and you release, and you squeeze your ball and release. And so you're pulsing at the top, but they're deep. You're trying to halve the ball and release. Keep pressing to the ground with your hands. Try to turn on your triceps by reaching your arms through the floor. Keep the height and the tuck in the tail, but drop your sternum for 3 more. 2, and last one. And then you lower your chest down and unravel the pelvis. Last, Seki, well done, excellent. Hands move behind your head, and we're going to start a similar sequence. So keep your head still, just squeeze the ball and release it. And squeeze the ball and release it. You're in neutral, you're drawing in your tummy, you're pressing your head into your hands, and you're going to lift your elbows slightly off the floor. And then you squeeze the ball and you keep the ball squeezed while breathing into your tummy. Good. Now squeeze the ball and keep it squeezed the whole time. And you're going to exhale to lift head and chest. Scoop out the tummy muscles, breathe in. Keep the ball squeezed the whole time, and then lower your head and chest. Inhale to prepare. Exhale. You're doing such a good job. This is intense. Come on up. Yes. Keeping the ball squeezed, you breathe in, and then exhale, lay down your spine. Inhale here. Exhale, lift head and chest. Draw in. Lower yourself down. Then relax the ball, no squeezing, just lift head and chest. We do 4. Lifting head and chest with some reprieve in the inner thigh. And lower yourself back down. 3 more, we lift up. Getting nice and high, that's great. And then lower yourself down. Remembering it's up to you. You're welcome to add a bit of juice. Come on up. You can grab your thighs and pull on your thighs if you wanted to get even higher, and then put your hands back behind your head and lie down. It's up to you. Last one, we come on up and you lift yourself as high as humanly possible. You keep your hands now back behind your head. You stay up there. You squeeze your ball. Squeeze, release. Good, and chill. 3, relax. 2, and done. Lower your head and your chest. Awesome. Okay, we'll take the ball away for a second. And you're going to straighten your right leg along the floor and lift your left leg to tabletop. Your hands are going to go out into a T at your sides. We're not going to straighten the leg up to the ceiling. We're going to draw a circle across the midline and around. Across the midline and around. Across the midline and around. Good. And then 2 more like that. And so this breath can be whatever pattern feels comfortable for you, or we can do, let's change direction. Inhale to draw 1 circle, and exhale to draw the next. Inhale to draw a circle. Very nice. Keep going. So Gugu, you're going to keep your right leg still on the ground and press it into the floor to stabilize you so that the hip doesn't move at all. And last 2. And last 1. And then straighten the left leg up to the ceiling. Have a moment where it's all work. And then use your hands to grab the back of your thigh. And so you're drawing the leg towards you, and you're welcome to grab hold of one of your bands and loop it around your foot if you feel you need to have a little bit of help, but your arms are good enough, it's working. And so over here you're holding your stretch for a secchi, breathing, and then we're going to just do circles with your ankle so that we are mobilizing the ankle joint. So now you get to point your toe and do circles and hold your stretch in the hamstring, squashing the right leg down into the ground, pulling on the left leg, changing direction of your circles and your ankle, and feeling also how stupid your ankle feels. Hey? It's a weird feeling, hey?
Yeah, it's like not perfect circles.
Yeah, it's not perfect circles. How weird is this? And then we take the leg down and along the ground, and so at least we know we're all in the same boat, me too. And we're going to lift the right leg to tabletop with your hands and your T and your palms up to the ceiling. And you keep your elbows and your hands in a straight line. So often we tend to migrate into a V, so just be wary of that. We circle first across the midline. That means you take the inner thigh in, and that was on an inhale. And then an exhale. So there's actually a rule for this exercise. Always start on the inhale, then the exhale for this particular one. And so you're going to keep going whatever breath cycle you're on, but you're going to alternate either an inhale or an exhale. And then we get to change direction. Keeping the other leg pressed down into the ground, and keep your circle like a vulture on top of a carcass. You really want to make sure the circle, the eye of the circle is over your hip. But, so that way you don't leave out a whole quadrant. And then one more. And now we're going to extend the leg directly up using the muscles of your leg at first, and you flex your toes, and it's quite a hard thing to do. I love that. Use your hands now, grab the back of your legs and pull with all your might as you straighten your leg up to the ceiling and you flex your toes to your nose and you try and push your heel up nice and high. And then the other leg you have to squash into the ground, so actually you're stretching the hip flexor on the other side. You can feel that. And yes, exactly, we want to keep the foot towards the mat, not necessarily in the center of the mat, but don't let it veer off to the side. And I like that you're shaking, and I like that it's working, and you're pulling hard towards your chest. And then you're going to point your toes and do like little circles towards the ceiling, and then hopefully you feel that you've got control over this ankle, but it's okay if you see that you don't, and you can change direction. And this is an area of your body we rely on, you know, to hold yourself up. It's in charge of making sure we don't keel over when we tackle a step. So we've got to give it a bit of respect. And then we're going to relax. Good. Come down, straighten the legs. And so I'd love to try and play around with doing roll-ups. So roll-ups are something that we all strive to do. It's an iconic movement in Pilates, being able to articulate yourself to seated. Now there's an abdominal strength component, sure. But actually it's more about how flexible your spine is. Because if you can curl your spine into a bollocky, you can roll. So it's not about bullying abdominal strength, it's about articulating one bone at a time and rolling yourself up. So, bend the knees. Good. Lift one leg up to tabletop. Grab the back of that leg. Lift your head and your chest up. And push yourself, like throw yourself up into a seated position. So using the momentum. Fantastic. And then your arms are going to go out in front of you, and we're going to assess. Can you half roll down and roll up? Can you go halfway without the feet lifting and the whole body falling? Okay, so thumbs close on fingers, and we're going to scoop out the tummy. And then roll yourself down, curling. And you might be thinking, why am I working the tummy? Let's stop there and roll yourself back up. When we're trying to release jaw and neck tension, it's because if you don't have enough strength in your middle, the ends suffer. Okay. Curl yourself down, tucking the tailbone under and rolling onto the lower back. So pause in this position. Everybody's here. Tuck your tail more, pull pubic bone to face, and then come back up. Okay, and then we'll go down again, leaning halfway back. So if you get to that point where you feel like your back wants to straighten, don't let it straighten. Pull your spine down into the ground and pull pubic bone and bum bones off the mat, and then roll yourself back up. So I like that we have this moment where the body overrides the brain. So I'm going to hold your hands. You're going to roll down halfway, and then you're going to use me, hang on me. Now you can use your TheraBand against an object that you know is not going to go flying. Tuck your bum under more and lie down on your kidneys.
Okay.
Tuck, 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 tuck. Okay, now think tummy. Use your stomach. Don't use me. Come up with your tummy. Yes. So we'll go again. You're leaning back. You want to try and roll onto your kidneys. Yes. Tuck, 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 tuck. More now, more now. Keep rolling, keep rolling. Keep the momentum. And then roll yourself back up. The difference between a wheel on a car rolling past you is that the wheel doesn't leave anything behind. When you roll a toilet paper roll, okay, don't be toilet paper. Tuck your tail and curl back. Pick up your bum bones as you roll back. Don't leave the bum bones behind. Use your stomach and roll yourself back up. And now we go lower.
All the way.
Almost all the way. We tuck and roll and roll and roll. Stay low with your hands and lie down all the way. Arms go over your head. Notice we're leaving the knees slightly bent. That's okay. Scoop out your tummy and squash the back into the floor. Yes, you pick up your tailbones. Then you inhale to lift your hands up to the ceiling. Now, if you don't have me standing here waiting, you can have a TheraBand or even a dumbbell in your hands. Give me your hands, lower them to thighs. That's your trajectory to come up successfully. And then you tuck and roll. And the success is in learning how to go down with the tuck, because you can reverse that and learn to come up with a tuck. And so inhale, lift your hands, and it's okay if you get stuck. You're going to try and come up, 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 up. You can also grab thighs and pull. Now you see how you're stopping tucking? Yeah, I can see that. The back wants to go flat. So we go again, everyone. We lift the hands up and roll. Yes. And then we go down again, curling. That's where you improve. Even if you do whatever it takes to get up, whether it's using one knee to chest, so bring one knee towards your chest for me, and then you lift head and chest and roll yourself up, put foot down, reach arms forward, curl back down, bone by bone. Tucking, sucking, and then one more. We bring right knee to chest. We got to keep you even. Tuck and chin, come up, throw yourself. So even on the two sides, there's a little bit of difference between the tightness in the back, and then you roll yourself back down, curling, and voila. Take your arms out into a T again. Slide one knee to bend, slide the other knee to bend, and then cross one leg over the other leg like a lady at T. Turn your palms up to the ceiling, and on an inhale, you take your legs over to one side. Feel the stretch in the body all the way out the fingertips. Keep your eye line in the middle. And then exhale, wrap your body back, rib cage down, waistline down, and center. Inhale all the way over to the other side. So you take yourself over. Let your feet just respond. And then exhale, drag your body back to center. Inhale, we go over to the side. And exhale, pull back. And then last one, inhale over. And breathe out to pull back. Swap your legs so that you cross your other leg over. And so we inhale to one side, whichever side that might be. And feel the stretch and enjoy the stretch and lean into the stretch. And then exhale to wring out your body like a big wet towel. and inhale over, and then exhale, you pull yourself back. Beautiful articulation through the spine. Inhale, go over. I can see the wringing out feeling. It's like a big grip and twist. Exhale back. So that's that feeling, that like internal wringing. And last one, over to the side. And then we wrap back. Good, you're going to settle your foot down on the mat and then make your way into side lying with your ball in hand. I'm going to place the ball underneath your left foot. Good. You're going to lengthen your legs and reach it long. Okay. Left hand goes down, palm down. Your shoulders are stacked and your hips are stacked. I want you to pull the kneecap up to the ceiling and then bend the knee, sliding the ball along your leg like so, and press it away. And so you'll pull that knee up to the ceiling, pressing into the ball, dragging it as high up your thigh as you can. So if there's room for more pulling, do so. And then extend the leg away, squashing the ball into your thigh. And you're dragging it up. Now, it might mean you have to rearrange the ball every now and then, but that's okay. And you press it away, squeezing long and strong, and then drag it back up again. Drawing in your navel the whole time and keeping your hips stacked. So when you open your knee up to the ceiling, you can feel that the hip wants to roll back. Try push it forward, don't let it roll back. And 3 more like this, dragging that leg up and away. And then 2 and away. And last one, we drag it up and back away. And then you're going to squeeze the ball between your ankles and exhale to lift both legs up off the floor. 1. Keeping your head down as if you're listening to your bicep with your right ear, and lower the leg. You want to keep your head resting on the arm. Exhale, lift the legs up. So the tendency here is to let your head lift off, trying to bend in half and then lower down. But we're anchoring the top half of your body while exercising. Exhale, lift the legs up, the middle. We're using the front and the back of your side. And so we'll do 4 more, exhaling to lift up. And if you're seeking more of a challenge, you are welcome to lift the left arm up in the air towards the ceiling. But know that it's if a big challenge, that's good. Come down. And exhale, you're doing such a good job. Lift up. And then come down. I find this side body work so hard and you make it look so easy. Lift up your legs. And lower. And if you're like me and you're wriggling around, then you're welcome to put your hand back down on the mat. Last one. And then come down. Good, and you can lower your hand. Fantastic. You're going to place your hand on your pelvis, pressing your hip away. So you're lengthening out your waistline. You're going to bend your knees in for me. Good. You're trying to squeeze the ball, but it does make life harder for the heels. So if it's too wobbly with the ball, get rid of it. You're going to lift your knee up towards the ceiling with a clam. And then exhale. Oh, that's an exhale. Then inhale, come down. Rolling the hip forward, we exhale to lift. Lifting the knee up. And down. And so you carry on like this, but there are a couple of levels that we're going to add. Keep your shoulder pulled back in its socket and the elbow up to the ceiling so you're not twisting your elbow back and leaving your shoulder there. The whole point of the hand on your hip is to give yourself length in your waistline. It's an encouragement rather than a pressure. So it's more like finding space. And so you'll lift the knee up and down, And then if you're looking for some more, you can pop up onto your right elbow for me, please, Gugu. Get up really high so the elbow's underneath your shoulder as opposed to underneath your head. So come up for me like this. Even higher, so you like this. Yeah. And so you're lifting your rib cage up, and now you still have to clam. Good. So you're wanting to lift your body up off the floor, pressing that elbow into the ground, and your shoulder comes back. But the normal clam is also good enough. And if you're still seeking more, I've got another layer for you. And I'm sorry about this, Gugu, but you've got to lift your bum up off the floor into a side plank, and then you still clam. Good. Alright, so keep going, drawing ribs in, navel in, hip forward, bum up, tuck tail for me, and 4 more, okay? But you do want to make sure that the shoulder, the elbow is directly under the shoulder, that you're not creeping away from it. Last 3, close ribs, honey, elbow up 2, I'm sorry in advance, because there's another side. Last 1, and then you come. All done. Okay. So we start with the foot on the ball. I want your head this side if you don't mind.
Oh, okay.
And so our legs will be that side. Like so. And you lie down flat with your head on your arm and your right hand in front of you, and you're going to try and squash the ball and then bend the knee up to the ceiling with a turnout in the hips. And so you slide the ball as close to you as possible, lifting your knee up. And so we're just tricking you into doing like a version of clam. Can you feel it? Anyway, after the other set, you're like, oh, I get why we did this one. And then you drag it back up, lifting the knee up. Both legs are nice and straight at the end of the range. So when you reach away, you straighten the legs and you squash into the ball with the inner thighs working hard. The toes are up to the ceiling and the kneecaps up to the ceiling, and then you slide up all the way as high as humanly possible without arching your low back, finding that length in your waistline. And so you'll repeat a couple of times.
It was easy on the other side.
It was easy on the other side because it wasn't really cooked yet, eh?
Okay.
So with every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So you don't realize, but when you're clamming on one side and the knee's opening, the other one's also pushing into the floor equally. So when it comes to turning over and doing the other set, you've got one really tired muscle already. And then we're going to extend that leg and squash the legs together. Using the hand press into the ground, you find length first. We reach the top leg along the ball and find space. By lengthening the top leg, you're actually going to shorten the bottom waistline. You feel that? And then on an exhale, you ask both legs to lift up. So both waistlines are lengthening and contracting at the same time. It's a weird feeling, but it's happening. And then come down. And so you're lengthening the right leg along, and then you exhale to lift both legs up and down, and you exhale to lift and lower, and then you lift. Rest your head. You felt the tension, hey? So it's quite good to audit yourself and check in here where when you're working on the legs and you notice that for some reason you tighten your jaw, you tighten your shoulders, and you just need to turn it off. And 4 more, using the front and back of your sides. Let's lift the arm up towards the ceiling and lift. Keep lengthening that top waistline and exhale. Softness in the neck. Give me 2 more. Squeezing the legs together. Think inner thigh connecting with opposite internal oblique. Lift. And 1 more. Head resting on arm. Lift. Good. Hand goes on waistline, bend the knees, take your feet back slightly behind you, so you move your ball back so that your head, your torso, or your upper back, your hips, and your feet are in a straight line. Get length out the waist. Squeeze the heels together, don't let the ball go wild. Lift the knee forward and up, not just up. So you're tractioning the kneecap along and then come down. What I mean by that is you don't want to roll backwards. So by making the leg feel like it's longer, reaching towards the screen as you lift up, you're more likely to use glute muscles to lift the knee rather than waistline to roll back. And so you close the ribs in the front here and you exhale to lift the knee. That was a really good one. And down. Came from all the right places. And squeezing the heels together. And then we realized, well, there were a couple of levels of clam that we did on the previous side. And so you're welcome to move to the next level. We started by lifting up onto the elbow in a plank-like position with your elbow directly underneath the shoulder, and then the other hand can go behind your head possibly, or on your waistline, like on your pelvis is fine. But you're wanting to get out of that elbow, lifting your rib cage higher and closing the ribs so that there's all this space here underneath you, and then you really have to work long at finding some length. Your head has to be in line with the rest of your spine, so your head sometimes wants to tilt up and keep your eye line forward, but you're going to keep your eye line forward and your neck in line with the rest of your spine. And then you can lift your hips up and off the floor, lifting the pelvis up. Let's put this right hand behind your head. See that it encourages your head to go back and close your rib cage, and then tilt forward with your hips so that you're drawing in the abs and you're lifting the knee up and down. This is incredibly difficult and you're doing bloody well. Lifting the knee, drawing in the tummy. If at any stage it's too hard, you just go back to normal clam. It's good enough. And 3. Shoving hips forward, tucking tail, go for it. Even if you don't move your knee, tuck, tuck, tuck your bum. Close the ribs. And last 2. Yes. And last 1. And then with control, you come down. Down you come. That was awesome. Well done. Sitting up, on your bottom, cross your legs. Okay, so I did a neck stretch in a previous video, but I really want to do one with you today. So you're going to put your one hand on your sternum and the other hand on the sternum, and it's an opportunity for us to try and do the scalene stretch again. So it's about tractioning the skin down on the front of your chest and then allowing your jaw to move forward while you lift up your head at an angle to one side. So let me turn and face the screen. The hands are on the sternum, just trying to miss the mic. Pulling down the chest, lifting your collarbones, and then lifting your chin up to the ceiling but off to one side. Like you're just cocking your head to the side, but you're lifting your jaw. Breathing deeply in and out. Now this is stretching accessory breathing muscles that help you inhale. We move to the other side. But you don't want to do it and hurt everything else about your neck. So you want to feel the stretch very much in the front of your jaw. Do you feel that? And there mustn't be pain in the back of your neck where your facets articulate. And we do not want pins and needles or referral pains into the arms. So you want to just make sure that you are stretching this front part of your neck. So to avoid any negative outcomes, you want to make space in your neck. Let's change back to the first side, pulling the chest down. Make space in the bones and improve the height of the space between the bones so that you aren't compressing anything. And if you have discomfort, reach out and we can direct you where you need to go. And then turn the other side and try and get into that jaw. And sometimes people feel it moving into their face. Yeah, all the way up. And so it's also likely you need a little bit of attention in the muscles that are in the jaw. So there are some really nice massages you can do and movements you can do for the face. So we're going to stop with this stretch and then just think for a moment about the movements in the jaw. You can take your jaw forward, you can take your jaw back. There are muscles that help you do this. So it makes sense that those muscles need a bit of love too. And then you can take your jaw to the side and to the other side. And so you'll feel a stretch, like a weirdly enough stretch, and maybe you feel there's more stretch in one side compared to the other. But it's just a practice that you can check in with yourself to see if you are holding tension in the jaw. Maybe do some of these movements to the side and then the other side. And you can even assist it with your finger, and you can get a little bit of a stretch going. And even opening your mouth and closing your mouth and changing the shape of your face can help change the resting tension in these muscles. Take your hand and put it on your face, and I want you to rub over this big jaw muscle and feel if there are any trigger points or tender spots. You just try and release those. You know, there's even opportunity to glove up and put your hand in your mouth and feel the muscles from the inside. And then move even higher up into your head here, trying to almost massage into your hairline. And so if this feels good, you're welcome to revisit this at any time, any day. But we are going to move to the other side. So starting on the jaw and pushing up into your face. And maybe you can just press pause, and if you feel like doing this later when you haven't been sweaty on your mat, it's not a problem to like pick your time. If you're doing a facial routine, you can add it in there. Digging in wherever you feel you need it, up into the cheek, and then across the cheekbone and into the side of your skull. You can even pull on the hair a little bit and it feels good. And so the last stretch in this area is going to be the back, upper back of the neck. You're going to take your hands and place them behind your head, tuck in your chin and press your head into your hands. So already there should be a little stretch in the upper cervical region. And then the elbows move forward so that the stretch changes slightly, and you tuck in your chin and you pull your hands down and you pull your head down. So you're rounding your back, but you're pressing your head back into your hands. And you could fold over completely into your lap, pulling on the head. Take deep breaths in here. And then slowly come up to seated. And let go of your hand on your head. You could also grab your hair and yank. That really helps fascially as well. And you're going to take your hands onto your sternum, and we did something similar, but we're going to dig down the middle and roll the fingers over the bones, so either the collarbones or down the center, all the way down towards your diaphragm. And when you get really low on your diaphragm, you can divide your hands into two parts, so down the right side of the rib cage or the left side. And you're going to just trace the edge of your ribs. So go even further now to like bottom of the rib cage here. Let me help you. I'm going to dig my hands in. Are you okay with that?
That's right.
Okay, so we're going to go here. It's not comfortable. Do you feel the difference?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting in there. And so I'm going to encourage Gugu to lie down, and so can you. Come down onto your mat, lying on your back. And we want to get under the ribs. So if you're seated, it's a bit difficult to actually get the abs to turn off. So lie down, you can bend your knees or you can have them straight, but you'll trace along the bottom of your rib cage and kind of clean off that bone. Do you feel what I'm talking about? It's uncomfortable. I'm going to do you. So I'm going to pull, almost like spreading it and digging my thumbs under the rib cage. Yeah, it's not nice. It's very needed though. And so we just pull that skin over the bone, almost like you're trapping the skin between my fingers and your bone, and we're rubbing it off. It's like we're trying to rub permanent marker off like a piece of plastic. You know, you rub hard enough and it might just come off.
Oh no.
Sorry. And so we work our way around here, and you know, it's uncomfortable, but I don't want you to cry. Are you close?
I feel like I'm about to.
She's close to crying. And I'm not being that, it's not that hard, but it is, yeah. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm making everyone cry. But it's not as bad as it feels. I'm trying to find the words. It's good for you, trust me. And so we are just trying to clean off that fascial attachment and muscular attachment onto the rib cage. And then the best way and the most painless way to do that is breathing. So place your right hand on your tummy and your left hand on your sternum, which is quite high up, just under your collarbones. And then inhale into the hand on your tummy and sigh it out. And inhale into the hand on your tummy and sigh it out. So maybe the sadistic poking, prodding, pulling, cleaning off of the fascia is not your vibe. Then deep belly breathing is a winner for you. And so you'll do 2 more breaths like this. And then last one. Don't get too excited. We roll over onto your tummy and you lie over the ball. So if the breathing wasn't enough, then we let the ball be my hands and you rest your head on your hands with your elbows wide and you breathe into your sides. And let the ball just get gobbled up. Accept the ball, surrender to the pressure. And the ball is quite specifically in the soft part of your tummy. It's not pushing into your ribs, but it is pushing into what feels like important organs. But you're allowed to just let that ball press into your abdomen. And you might experience a lot of discomfort based on digestion, if there's any gas in the system, or if there are very active trigger points that are in those muscles, either in your six-pack or in your psoas, the hip flexors. And you're trying to surrender and completely soften into the ball. And you need to spend a considerable amount of time here, because this change is subtle, but it can be really effective if you give it enough time to do what it needs to do. So the idea is that your body weight over the ball is compressing structures in your abdomen, and that compression leads to ischemic tendencies. So where it's like taking a sponge and squeezing the sponge to all the dirty drain waters out of the sponge, and then when you let go, there's this influx of nourishing, wholesome, clean fluid, either blood flow or interstitial fluid, that is nourishing and beneficial for the tissues. And so it's under that premise that we're going to do this, and I quite like that thought process of like getting rid of all the dead and useless and used up fluids in your body and just bringing fresh, clean, wonderful fluid back into that space. And so I've spoken enough just to make you spend time with the ball in your tummy. But if you are doing this in your own practice, you can actually spend up to 3 minutes in this position, just drawing air into the side body. But we're going to push back now into rest position, taking your bum back onto your heels. Inhaling into side body. Rock forward into 4-point kneeling. Take your right arm forward, reaching it past your ear. Take your left leg back behind you. Hold yourself there. Now you want to make sure the hips are square and you're drawing in your rib cage, and you hold, shoving the shin of your right foot into the floor, finding length out of both limbs, leaning left, drawing in the rib cage so that you knit rib to hip. So pick up here, yes, and then come down and do the other side. Left arm reaches long, right shin shoves into floor and then lifts up and hold. Press left shin into floor, lean over to the right hand side, picking up your abdominals, closing your ribs even more. Press your low back into my hand, tuck your tail, lift up here. Close the ribs, yes, good. We're trying to stretch this part of your back out. Lift from there, good. Hold it for 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. We come down, you lie on your back, and we take a couple deep breaths because it's done. Allowing your feet to flop and your hands to turn up towards the ceiling. I want you to feel your low back settle into the mat. So if you need to bend your knees, rather do. Then if you have bent knees, you tap them in towards one another so you're in wide feet, close knee position. So it's like a knock knee. You relax your head and your chest. You soften the ribs to settle into the mat. You relax your pelvis. And some sighing out audible breaths. Take a deep, nourishing inhale. And then exhale all that stale air out. Take another one in. And as you breathe out, you can let all your tension go. Well done.